Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Misty Murray and today we're going to talk about the dreaded F word. Nope, it's probably not the F word that you're thinking about and probably say daily in the office. Today's F word is filing.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
If you're anything like me, that is exactly what you're saying in the office. Nobody's got time for that. But before we get into things today, be sure to click that subscribe button and follow me on social media. Okay, law firms, let's face it, are no doubt paper churning machines, but I have never met a single paralegal, file clerk, secretary, you name it, that enjoys the task of filing. Again, nobody has time for that. We are all stretched thin as it is. So, if we don't want to deal with the paper anymore, what's the alternative? The alternative is going paperless. I know paperless is a very scary word for a lot of people because attorneys are the biggest creatures of habit. They need tangible proof of a product, and so going paperless can be very scary to them. But if you stick with me today, I've got 10 steps that you can take to take your office paperless, and I promise after the end of this video, it won't seem that scary. In several jurisdictions today, we're seeing courts transforming their systems to an e-filing system. They're not wanting paper anymore. They're requiring that you e-file all pleadings. Notarization is being replaced with certification, and in many states, notarization has already transformed into a digital environment. If you're a lawyer watching this, then think about what going paperless could do for your firm. Not only is it a huge overhead cost-saving solution, but it frees up valuable time for your staff to be doing other things regardless of their position. Tip number 1 is to invest in some scanners. And yes, that is plural because you're going to need to scan absolutely everything. Whether your firm is large or small, you are going to need multiple scanners. Now I know what you're thinking. I just told you that going paperless is a cost-saving solution, and here you are having to buy scanners. But depending on your practice determines what type of scanners you really need. Most offices already have big, large scanners and printers for those big, massive projects. But what about the small items? The small pleadings or correspondence or just tiny little notes that come from clients that come in the mail. For this reason, attorneys and paralegals and other staff members really need scanners at their desks. It really isn't that efficient to constantly be getting up and down to scan every little tiny piece of paper, but I have to scan everything if I'm going into a paperless environment. While I like seeing all those steps on my Fitbit, my time is money. My time is valuable. And if I have a scanner at my desk, then I could be scanning smaller things at my desk while multitasking and doing other items while those items are scanning. For a lot of staff members, saying having a scanner at your desk is a little scary. You might already have a small printer at your desk, and adding a scanner to the mix might make space pretty limited. So there are some options you can consider. If you don't have a space issue, then you can consider a bigger scanner. If you do have a space issue, then you can pick you up one of these. This is a small portable scanner that you can plug into your computer, scan items when you need it, and tuck it away when you don't. Step number 2 in the process of going paperless is to implement a document management and practice management system. This can be a singular system all wrapped into one. A lot of attorneys and law firms are using practice management systems that are only available to them on their desktop computers. But how is that working for you when you're away from the office? Guess what? It's not. And this cartoon says it all. Having a cloud-based practice management system that houses your client contacts, your case info, your pleadings, your correspondence, absolutely everything that you need as far as your case is concerned. Your indexes, everything. Not only creates efficiency for the staff and for attorneys, but as a bonus, it allows you to be productive from anywhere. You could be in Paris working on your case. You could be in Hawaii working on your case, but you need a cloud-based practice management system to do that. Paralegals, if you are wanting to go remote, if you're wanting to go virtual for your firm, you cannot do that unless your firm goes to a cloud-based practice management system, and perhaps even paperless if you're not going to have any sort of assistance in the office to handle all of that paper. If going completely cloud-based is just a bit too scary for you, then what you can do is you can mimic everything on your in-house server to your cloud-based practice management system. And this gives you an incredible bonus. What it does is create redundancy in your practice. So in the event your in-house server goes down and you're remoting into your computer through a VPN, you're not going to lose productivity because you have all of your case documents and contact info on your cloud-based practice management system. And for those people billing by the hour, yeah, can I get a clap on that one? You can thank me later. Step number 3 in the process is to start using a third-party encrypted file sharing program. This kind of goes with step 2. But if you're working with experts and consultants, you still need to work with them in an environment that is safe and efficient. So stop buying the thumb drives, stop buying the CDs, and stop printing them paper and start using an encrypted file sharing program. The reason why I say that this kind of goes with step 2 is that you're still using a third-party vendor. But if I'm working with a consultant or an expert, I don't necessarily want to invite them into my practice management system. So using a third-party encrypted file sharing program allows me to continuously work with them in a real-time environment without inviting them to my in-house practice management system. With the security threats facing law firms today, implementing a third-party file sharing program is a great way to reduce your risk of exposure while continuously working with your consultants and experts in real time. In essence, it provides safe transmission of the data while saving valuable time. If you're sending things to your experts and consultants and clients or co-counsel or opposing counsel in the old-fashioned way, then you are using paper or a thumb drive or CD in addition to the cost of the toner, the postage, the envelope, and the time waiting for the documents to get from point A to point B. Nope, I don't have time for that. I could be saving valuable time by using a third-party file sharing program like Citrix. All I have to do is open up my Citrix application and drag and drop my files. Instantly, those files get transmitted in a private, secure environment to the recipient. I'm not waiting days for the recipient to get the documents that I need them to get. I'm waiting mere moments. I get a notification whenever those documents are received and whenever they're downloaded. Step 4 is probably one of the most important ones, and whether or not it's step 1 or step 10, it has to be a step. And that is to implement and train your firm on the protocols for going paperless. How are you scanning? When are you scanning? How much time do you have to save? What are you shredding? What can you throw away? What must you keep? You can't leave these things up to chance with your staff. You have to develop those policies and procedures, put them in place, and make sure to reduce your exposure to liability by having them in place. The type of policies and procedures you put in place for your law firm staff depends on the systems that you implement for your paperless environment. But regardless, you need to discuss and write down your policies on retention, security, HIPAA compliance, and encryption. Those things are absolutely paramount to your paperless environment. Step 5, yes, we are halfway there, is to start gathering e-signatures and form e-service agreements with absolutely everyone. If I'm going paperless and I need a client or co-counsel or an attorney to sign a simple document or to sign something that's more important, like a HIPAA document or a pleading or a notice of deposition, anything like that, then using a signature program is much more efficient than printing out paper, either putting it in the mail or putting it on the attorney's desk, waiting for it to be signed and sent back to you or put back on your desk. It's just more efficient to get an e-signature and create efficiency in your practice, especially in that paperless environment. There are a lot of e-signature programs on the market today, but depending on what you need signed depends on the program that you can use. For letters and simple correspondence, Adobe offers a simple solution to this, and you can sign any document using Adobe. However, for more important documents like contracts, affidavits, certifications, I may need to authenticate that signature at some point. So that's where signature programs like DocuSign and Write Signature come into play. If you're forming e-service agreements with everybody, opposing counsel, insurance companies, clients, co-counsel, you name it, then you're already saving money because you're not printing paper or writing things to a thumb drive or a CD. You're not using envelopes. You're not using postage. You're not waiting for it to get there. You're getting the document where it needs to go, getting the signature, getting it back, and doing anything else that you need to do with the document, but you're not waiting. You have already created efficiency by implementing a signature program and by forming those e-service agreements. So while I can't guarantee that this is going to make you completely paperless, what I can assure you is that it will drastically reduce the amount of incoming and outgoing mail that you have. Step 6 is the simplest of all steps, and that is to simply start creating your digital letterhead. Now, we are going paperless, so we're transforming the way that we're actually sending things, but we still need to look professional. So you can create your own digital letterhead by using Canva or doing it in Word or in Adobe, but create that digital letterhead. If you're like most firms, your letterhead is custom and it's being printed on bond paper and delivered to you by the printing company. But how much is that actually costing you? If you're going to a paperless environment, then drop the printing company, buy your own bond paper, and print your letterhead on it if you absolutely need to. If not, then there's really no need for you to have that custom printing company anymore because you're going paperless and you're sending things over the internet, over email, over a file sharing program. You're not printing them. Step 7 is to purchase a few good shredders. Yes, this is plural once again and goes back to those policies and procedures that you're going to implement on your paperless environment. There are some documents that we simply can't throw away. If we're receiving discovery that's got private information in it, such as dates of birth, social security numbers, then we can't just throw those documents away, but we're not filing them away in our file folders either anymore. We have to shred them in order to remain HIPAA compliant. So get a few good shredders, get those policies and procedures in place, and make sure that everybody in your law firm knows what they should be shredding. However, absolutely make sure that you have scanned that document before you shred it. But you've got to get those shredders. You've got to remain HIPAA compliant and get those documents shredded and keep that environment paperless. Step 8 is for law firms that are working with or ordering medical records and billing records. If you are ordering medical records, then you need to make sure that those medical records are requested under the HITECH Act and to work with records agents that are getting the medical and billing records to you in a digital format. You want to download those records. You don't want them on CD, you don't want them on thumb drive, and you most certainly do not want them on paper. If you choose to work with a records agent to get your records, make sure that you are working with an agent that isn't supplying you with a repository for the records. If they're supplying you with a repository for the records and they're keeping your data as well as you keeping your data, then what they're inevitably doing is charging you per page to scan each one of those documents to you and to house those documents to you. And that's not what you want. You need to reduce those costs. So in order to do that, you need to work with a records agent that allows you to order the records in a digital environment on their user interface, and that allows you to download those records that they're getting for you. You don't need them to keep them once you have them. Of course, this doesn't apply to everyone. You may not be working with medical records at all, or you may be working in medical records with a defense firm. And if that's the case, then you probably have a client that has a preferred vendor, and in those sort of cases, you can pass on that expense to your client at a preferred rate. But for plaintiffs' firms who are working on a contingency fee basis, then medical records can be a huge cost for them. So working with the HITECH Act and ordering your records through the HITECH Act and working with records agents that allow you to download the records versus them housing them in a repository environment allows you to reduce the cost, the overwhelming cost of ordering medical records. Step number 9 is to find a productivity application that works for you. Whether or not it's on your desktop, your phone, or your tablet, you may find that going into a paperless environment provides less visual cues for you to move your cases along, and that's where a good productivity app comes into place. There are many productivity applications on the market today. If you're using Outlook or Office 365, then you already have applications available to you. You've got Planner, To Do, I think there's Tasks in Outlook, and there are also platforms like Asana and Wonderlust that are great productivity platforms and offer both free and premium programs for you and your staff. Step number 10 is simple, and that's just to take a deep breath. Going paperless takes time, but in the end will allow you to be so much more productive and could potentially save your firm thousands depending on the systems that you implement for practice management and file sharing. Having said that, you might see the cost as a trade-off. Instead of spending money on paper and toner and envelopes and custom letterhead, you're spending that money on a file sharing program, a practice management system, and a signature program that authenticates signatures. But think about the efficiency that you've created by going paperless. And there's the added bonus of being able to be productive in any environment from any location, regardless of whether or not you're remoting onto an in-house server. It is providing you freedom. So there you have it. Those are all my steps that you can take to take your firm paperless. Transform your environment and give yourself the freedom that you want. If you're a paralegal wanting to go remote, then this is the best way to do it. If you need help finding a productivity application on any device that you're using, implementing a practice management or document management system, or finding the right encrypted environment for file sharing or capturing signatures, then let me know below in the comments and I will do my best to bring you that sort of content in the next YouTube video. As always, thank you so much for coming here and watching me today. Be sure to click that subscribe button and follow me on social media. In my next clip, we'll talk about going freelance or going virtual and steps you can take to creating that freelance environment that you want. Have all of the freedom that you want, work on the cases that you want, but open your own company so that you can be able to go freelance. I've got a few steps that you can take, and I'll share that in my next clip. Until then, I'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.